Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Carroll from MyMMAnews.com and Carroll's Corner MMA podcast. Tonight we have Jackhammer Promotions heavyweight champion Igor Lakicevic. Igor, how you doing?
Doing all right, sir. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. I appreciate you coming on and taking the time to hop on. Congratulations, a big victory on the November 24th. Tell us how you feel about getting that victory.
Well, thank you very much for the kind words. It is an honor to be on your show. This is my first time talking in front of camera, really. So, hard part is not in the cage, it's here. So let's get with it. We feel great as a team. Um, we are preparing very hard for the fight. We always stay in shape, always train year round, never take time off. So whenever an opportunity pops up for us to fight, we're good to take it. Um, I'm fighting this Friday, upcoming Friday. So, as one good thing happen, and if you stay ready and if you're healthy, you're good to go.
You're talking about your fighting on Friday. Tell us a little bit about that. That's, I believe, in Utah, correct? Tell us
Yes,
about that
sir.
coming up.
Well, that fight is gonna be a fierce organization. It's the biggest amateur organization in Utah. I'm gonna be fighting Mark Gonzalez, I believe. Experienced opponent, number one ranked heavyweight in Utah. It's gonna be fun. He's a heavy puncher. It's gonna be a big scope for our amateur career. Get out there, try to implement my game, and I'm ready to go as much as 5 rounds or end it in the first round. I've seen it all. I've experienced it all, and I don't think there would be anything that I'm not prepared for.
Tell us a little about your background and how you got into MMA. I believe you have a wrestling background. Tell us a little bit about your journey to where you are today.
Well, I moved with my family to U.S. about 7 years ago. Before I moved to US, I played basketball and many non-real sports that are not related to MMA.
Okay.
When I moved here, I came a second semester of freshman year in high school, so the basketball team was already set, and I couldn't join it. So not having the sport to play, one of my buddies that I met reached out to me and said, "What are you doing for sport?" And I said, "I'm waiting for the next year to play basketball." And he said, "Why don't you come out for football?" And I was like, yeah, man, I never played. I never really didn't know much about football except that the ball is a weird shape. And I said, cool. After that, season ended. I liked it. The same buddy comes, what are you doing in the off season? I said, I got nothing. I'm waiting for next football season, I guess. He said, come to wrestling. I went to wrestling. Almost died my first practice. I have no idea why did I come back the second practice. It was the most brutal experience in my life. At that time, I was like about 240, and I was getting ragdolled by someone 100 pounds lighter than me. And I'm telling you, I had no idea why I came back to second practice, and I did. And the rest is history. A couple years later, coach moves into town, Phil Dunlap with his Asylum Fight team. And I said, if this is, I've been talking for a couple years that I would like to try MMA, and this was just a sign for me to go and pursue it.
Awesome. And, at Jackhammer Promotions, you fought an experienced veteran on the amateur level. You don't get too many guys that are 8-9 or 9-8. I can't remember his record off the top of my head.
Yes.
But Joshua DePace, a little bit of your fight that I'm going to play. Tell us a little bit about what you were thinking about going into this fight. He's an experienced fighter. He's got a background in kickboxing and MMA. Tell us about your thoughts going into it against Joshua DePace.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm still discovering how I am as a fighter. Obviously, that's the whole point of amateurs. And going against him and knowing how many times he fought, I knew he was going to be more calm and more experienced than me. And just based on my fighting style, I already kind of knew that it was going to be hard for me to put him out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really looking forward to test my cardio and test my ability to stay calm against an opponent who throws such high volume in heavyweight division, which is not something that happens in early rounds. And after we went through the first round, I was like, "This is exactly what I came for." And even though I saw I'm in the fight, like, oh, this is going to be a fight. Even I was very happy that I'm gonna get that experience to prove to myself that I can go 3 rounds and not get tired.
Yeah, did you feel like you were tired at all at any point in the fight in the third round, or did you feel like, you know what, I got through 3 rounds pretty comfortably, my cardio held up, I'm happy with the way I performed?
Well, I gotta say I'm very happy with how I perform cardio wise. At the end of every fight, I'm going to be tired. That is just you moving a big body, you moving a very big opponent. Um, I was happy if I had to go a couple more rounds, I could. I was trying to get the finish, but as I said, he was very experienced. I never experienced someone getting punched by me at full force and not even like blinking. There were a couple of times on the floor where I would hit him like 5 6 times in a row as hard as I can, and he was just grunt a little bit, move his head, and continue with the fight. So I didn't want to make any mistake and end up in a position where he could potentially take the fight. That's maybe the part that I'm not too happy about because I maybe played a little bit too safe, but that is appropriate for the amount of time I have spent in the cage so far.
Now you're talking about taking a fight this weekend on Friday in Fierce Fighting Promotions in Utah. You're taking a fight pretty quickly after your last fight. A lot of people on the amateur level don't really do that. Even on the professional level, take MMA fights pretty quickly back to back. Thoughts about being active? How active do you like to be? How active do you want to be in the future in 2025?
So this is going to be my sixth MMA fight. This no, sorry, this is my fifth MMA fight, and I believe sixth or seventh total fight in this year because I did two kickboxing matches. Um, I would definitely like to stay just like that, or even more if possible. If injuries don't prevent me from it. When I started going into MMA, I truly believe that I won't be able to do it. I can't sit here and tell you I'm going to be the champion or something like that. I did not have any previous experience to give me that, even if it's fake confidence, to believe that I'm going to be a good fighter or fighter at all. So I would, watch the same two videos of Mirko Krokop and Fedor before every fight to hype myself up, to tell myself, hey, you can do this. So, they have a couple saying, you're a fighter. Fighters fight, and this is what you gotta do. So my coach is old school also, and this is anybody offers us a fight, I will in amateurs I will never say no to it.
That's all.
And if I'm healthy and there's a fight that makes sense, I'm not. I mean, right now I'm at the stage where I wouldn't benefit much from fights, from opponents who are like 0-5, 0-4, because that's clearly someone who's probably not training very hard and not taking the sport seriously. But these hard opponents like Josh the Pace and the opponent I'm about to face in Utah, and if I have to fight back to back weekends, as long as I'm healthy, I will fight.
That's awesome. And as you can see here, Josh DePay's commenting, excellent opponent. It was great time sharing the ring. Best of luck in your career.
Thank you.
Great respect from him, as well as we've seen respect from you to him. Tell us a little bit about the mental strength you need and mental fortitude you need to be able to hop back right into the cage and compete. You went 3 rounds with Josh DePace, and now you're hopping in for another title. Like, mentally, do you ever get burned out? Does it wear down on you? I'm sure it does with all the training and the competitiveness, but how is the support team of your team and then mental fortitude that you have to be able to continue and hop right back in?
Well, when it comes to mental side of taking fights this fast, I gotta give the most credit to my coach. When I was starting my MMA career, I did not believe I could do it, and when he told me that I'm ready, considering he had over 100 professional fights, and generally he's one of the toughest men I know, I believe him more than I believe myself. So when he tells me, Igor, you're ready to take this fight, I don't doubt it 1 second. Even though if I had some doubt from inside talking, I don't listen to their voice. I just proceed with what my coach tells me because I trust him fully. And training never stops. Almost not almost every Monday, right after fight, we're back to training. A lot of times, unless we're traveling from far distance, I will try to sneak in a run or some light workout day after the fight because for some weird reason, it just helps me get back to regular routine, and it never feels like I did something special, the day before. It is just a regular life. You go fight on Saturday, Sunday you come home, eat some pizza, train, and on Monday you're back to work.
That's awesome. And tell us a little bit about your team, Team White Rhino. Your brother also fought on the Jackhammer promotion, Fall Brawl 13 fight card, Ivan. Tell us a little bit about training with your brother, competing alongside him, and competing with your teammates, and just your team overall.
At the moment, we are a fairly new school in Lexington area. Coach had the school for running for a long time in Vegas and New York, but he's been here for 2 years. We're a small team. Pretty much just me and my brother compete MMA. He's my main and only sparring partner when it comes to when it comes to MMA. I also like to go to one local boxing gym and train with their heavyweight. But for White Rhino, we do mostly Brazilian Jiu Jitsu because that is a little bit more accessible with the amount of people that are willing to do that. And then we strike 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay, awesome. What are your goals for MMA? What do you want to get out of this? Obviously, the short term goal is go to Utah, win another title. Long term, what is your goal?
That is a question I have no answer to be honest with you. The goal was to survive first fight. After that, I just didn't know what am I doing now. I'm a fight. I guess I'm fighting because I didn't believe I was gonna survive through the first one. Uh, Looking at the future, I have two organizations that I would like to fight for if everything goes well. Obviously, one is UFC, and the other one would be Polish KSW. Uh, it is a goal of mine to be a professional fighter. I would like to get to travel the world and meet all these great people that I've been looking up to growing up, and get to see the respect in their eyes and getting to see them look at me as an equal.
What do you believe as a fighter you have to do to not only get better but be able to compete at the highest level as a professional to get to that goal of yours to fight for the UFC or in Poland? What do you believe you have to do as an athlete to get to that next level?
I would say that the most important thing is to keep your feet on the ground. Um, Really, any title, any win that comes, is, in my opinion, not that important because you're as good only as your last fight. I get to see it many times with professionals. I mean, Jose Aldo defended his title 10 times in a row, loses to Conor McGregor. Everybody was treating him like he's the worst fighter in the world. So I know when after I won this one, it kind of had a very good ring in our community here in Virginia. People were like proud that someone from their community is like going to New York and winning fights. But I know that is all very short term. You're as good as your last fight, and I just know that I have to listen to my coach. I have to listen to people who done this before, and not try to invent something new that is unnecessary.
Absolutely. Watching your fight as we're talking here, you're just smothering Joshua DePace. Is that the style you like to work with when you're in the cage? You like to take people down and just smother them, or are you a guy who wants to stand and bang with people? What is the style that you want to usually, I guess, entertain the crowd with?
This is the part of MMA that I enjoyed the most. Is it allows you to play chess while you're in the cage. Uh, from the moment you touch gloves and the exchange start, you can already get the feeling of your opponent, whether he's more powerful than you, whether he's more technical than you, or faster than you. So I truly enjoy training every aspect of the game. I'm a geek for MMA. I love to watch every angle of potential, movement when you're on your feet. What can you do from this grappling position? So my coach always tells me, win the fight. That is the primary goal, to win the fight. And if I can feel that I can take my opponent down easy and win the fight easier there, that's what I'm gonna do. If I feel like he has nothing for me on the feet, that's where we're gonna keep the fight. I gotta say that the big influence on my grappling in the cage was competing at Warrior Cage Grappling for Mr. Ramirez, and just getting to experience going against higher belts while grappling in cage, fast paced 3 minute, 2 minute, 3 rounds. That helped me a lot with my confidence, to push people against the cage, drag him down, keep him there, and make him suffer.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you like to do when you're not training, when you're not competing? What do you like to do to entertain yourself and take your mind off of competing and being inside the gym? Almost like a reboot, recharge type thing.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm a very social person. I spend most of my time with my family. I stay busy at work, so between training and work, I get very little free time. So when I get it, I pretty much like to stay home and just eat some good food and relax with my family.
First of all, what kind of food are you eating? Because being a big guy myself, I know you're not worrying about the weight on the scale, right? So what do you enjoy most when you're eating?
Well, I can say I enjoy the stuff that is not very good for me. When I'm disciplined, which to be honest with you, I don't eat a lot of bad food. I just eat very large quantities of it.
Okay.
Uh, all my meals are home cooked by my mother, so um, it's a lot of Eastern European food, heavy on the meat, bread, cheese, and combinations like that.
Sounds pretty good to me.
It's very good.
Awesome, awesome. So, when are you getting out to Utah? What day are you heading out there?
Well, I think we're leaving house around 2:30. Pick up coach 2:30 on Wednesday morning. So it's gonna be very early. Our flight goes out of DC at 7 a.m. and we should be in Salt Lake about 11:45 on Wednesday. Uh, if everything goes by the schedule.
Awesome. Oh, yeah, I know if you're flying into Salt Lake City, definitely have your phone ready when you're landing into. If you've never been there before, the snow caps on the mountain are pretty cool.
I'm looking forward to it. I have many friends in Utah. I used to go to Southern Virginia University, and I got to meet a lot of people who are from Utah, and they've been telling me all sorts of great things. And I cannot wait to see Salt Lake City.
Awesome. Before I let you go, what's some advice you would give to a young person who's looking to get into fighting, whether it's wrestling or any sort of combat sports? What would be the advice you would have for them when they're just starting?
I think the advice for MMA is just do it. It's a very hard sport to get into, and they should know that. It's very nice to watch highlights of fights and your favorite fighters, but the reality of MMA is waking up in the morning with a good amount of pain, working through a lot of aches and small or big injuries. I can promise you that even though you're closing your eyes when you're getting punched in those first couple practices, which I did too a lot, you get used to it. Punches don't stop hurting, but they're just not gonna have that wow effect every time. The fear of fights and of getting punched is very overrated fear because we our whole lives we try to avoid conflict. So when you willingly step in there, it's very uncomfortable at the beginning, but oh, you get used to it, just like anything else.
Awesome. Igor, I appreciate you hopping on and chatting with me. I wish you the best of luck in Utah. Do you have any sponsors or anyone you would like to recognize before we hop off?
At the moment, we don't have any sponsors. I'm gonna be working on it a little bit more in the near future because now I'm getting some results, and I kind of have something to offer to people and ask for. Before I was kind of more low key because of the non important results, I'll say. But I would like to also just take opportunity to say thanks to Mr. Bobby Campbell from Jackhammer for giving me the opportunity to fight for the title. And I would also like to say it's a very big honor for me to represent my home country, Montenegro, and to represent my home state, Virginia. A lot of people are behind me now, and I do feel a little bit of pressure, but it is a good kind of pressure.
Awesome. Igor, the Jackhammer Promotions heavyweight champion of MMA, congratulations on your title and best of luck this Friday on December 13th in Utah. So I appreciate you coming on and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. It's my honor.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carroll's Corner MMA podcast, and we're signing off. Awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate hopping